Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TMA Thursday Night Live with Pidge and joined by Mr. Fans Verdict himself, Sir Dunk. All right, mate?
Good evening. Yeah, not too bad.
Evening all. Right, okay, Woody. Hello, mate. Mrs. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm, ladies and gentlemen, I managed to figure out why no one was watching it on Facebook because I put the privacy settings, so I've actually finally done it today. So yeah, we're previewing the game at the Vic at the weekend. So Watford versus Stoke. So 2 wins to start off the season. So the team is in good vigor going into this game. Another tough game. As always, just a big shout out to the Watford Football Club, Former Players Club. We are deeply honoured and privileged to be in association with them. Head on over to facebook.com/tailor-made for community. So big shout out to Lufra and Pricey on that. So yeah, yes, mate. On to you, mate, before we get onto the comments. But tough game coming up.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we expect, though. The old cliche, no easy games in the Championship is always the case. It's a new season. Everyone's optimistic, no matter which club you are. And it's not too much to say on that one, really. We know Stoke's going to be a tough challenge. They always are. And I know that previously they had Jack Bonham in goal for a while, if you remember last year. But he since was dropped out the squad.
Yep.
So that's an old Hornet connection, along with Ben Wilmot, who's still there. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not too clued up on the Stoke squad, to be honest. But I think they haven't done. Don't think they've been too busy in the transfer market this year so far.
No, they haven't. Sorry, mate. Go on. It's got a delay on it, but I do apologise for over talking. Yeah,
I was just saying, what are your thoughts on it, Pidge?
Like I said, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. It's always a bloody delay on it. I'll agree with you. I'm not completely adverse in the ways of the Stoke, but I've got a few results and stuff come up here, so I'll throw that out in a minute. Also, guys and girls, throw out your opinions about what Tom said, TC said about Espria today, looking at his state of mind. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So anything else Stoke related, if you want to put that up, we'll put up some stats very shortly. But I've looked at certain players that are there. You've got Lyndon Gooch, who's a decent player. The likes of Lewis Baker is currently their top scorer. They've only scored 1 goal. Mr. Wilmot is there as well, ex-Watford. Ben Wilmot's still there and going strong by the looks of it. The ones they've signed, it's like Ben Gibson on a free, who has Sam Gallagher. You've got Bosun Llewell from Celtic, Noah Campbell, or Cooper, sorry. The goalkeeper, Victor Johansson, that's their major signing. He's from Rotherham. Obviously, they got relegated last season, so they swooped straight in to get him. That would have been a fantastic signing for us, mate, to be fair. The notable players that have left, you've got Tyrese Campbell. Who else you got? Mac Baker, Liam McCarron. So there's not much. I think Wesley has left. He went to Turkey. Tyrese Campbell went to Sheffield United. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is probably their major out. So not any major ones actually leaving there. A good win against good win against Carlisle away in the cup midweek as well. And also they're on the same points as us. Currently, it's not mean anything. They're 9th, we're 7th. It's exactly the same. Pretty much. They won 1-0 at home to Coventry, which no mean feat. Coventry will be thereabouts in the top 10 this season. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's going to be once again game management. Klebs has also said, I know you got a few things that you said before we went live, mate, so I won't spoil it too much. I'll let you get on with this. But TC's obviously come out and said, it's going to be completely different game management to the one that we had with MK Dons, because it's a totally different kettle of fish. I mean, we played a very poor MK Don side. I thought we played well midweek, but also they weren't fantastic. It's going to be a totally different game, and Stoke will certainly be up for it. Obviously, both us and Stoke buoyed with our victories last weekend, mate.
Yeah, I was at the MK Dons game, and the first half was almost a party atmosphere at times, given how good the football was. I've rarely seen I've rarely seen a Watford team, that understands their role so early in the season. You can see that everyone, even if the execution isn't always right, you can see that the understanding of what's being asked of them individually, and how to get from defence to midfield to the front. It's like a very nice change of pace to what we've been used to. Because 2 years ago, we went out to MK Dons 2-0 under Edwards, which is not exactly unusual. We are not great in the Cups normally. Stevenage last year went out on penalties. So, yeah, momentum's definitely with us. I think if you're basing it on form, you'd say Watford would be the slight favourites on that one, really. But then a League Two opposition that on paper you'd expect to beat, and a Millwall game where we grafted well, but were aided by quite a weak goalkeeping display. There's a little bit of unknown about how good our attack is still, because it's not faced a stern test yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes down. I'm with Watford Woody going for a 2-1. It's my view on that one. A good old reliable 2-1.
Yeah, pitch predictor, mate. I'm going to claim that one. Well on, Woody. Man of my own heart. Yeah, Dunk's going for that. Mark Padden, evening, mate. He says, evening all. Mr. Higgins, evening, boys. Yeah, so Woody said, big test for the team, absolutely. Yeah, like I say, Mark Padden 2-1 as well. Mr. Thorpe, hope your mother's well, mate. He says, hi, everyone. Dan said, evening, guys. Ince has to start. Tempted to put him in for bio. Yeah, no, I mean, looking at that point, and we'll get onto that, and we'll also you elaborate on the Esprit thing, because I know we were talking about it just before we went live. But you know, there's a few, and you've alluded to the fact that obviously Edwards lost to the last two times we've played in this competition. We went out against MK Dons, like you said, under Edwards. We lost with pretty much a full side, apart from I think Hamer, if I'm meant to believe, last time away at Stevenage. So the players, and we've all said this, if they play, you know, this is, you know, for the fringe players and the players looking to start the next game for the first team in the league, this is a perfect opportunity to give the head coach, whoever it is, obviously Klebs now, a selection headache. And they certainly did that on Tuesday with, like Dan saying, Incy, okay, two of the goals, you could probably say it's poor keeping, but he still scored. He took that chance. He still had a shot. So he scored a hat-trick. So it's certainly given Klebs a few of those players I thought played really well. Pollock, again, excellent. Reveling in that role as the captain. Completely deserved, I think. I mean, I was a Porteous fan a season or so when he first came, but 100% Pollock's really grown into that. But is there any player you think might sneak in? I mean, obviously Dan's saying that Ince has to start. He's tempted to bring him in for bio. What do you reckon, mate?
That's the thing. I'd keep Ince on the bench, because I think on the left you have Chakvetadze. That's quite an obvious pick at this point. The right is definitely still open, and I wouldn't think, oh no, if Ince started. I think you can easily argue that we'd be there on merit given his performance in the Cup. But I think I'd probably maybe even put Vatter there, perhaps. He looked electric. So I'd actually probably put Vatter on the right there. It would be my pick. But the one about Bio, I would drop Bio, but I think I'd actually drop him for Rajovic, because he looks when we watched him last season, he looked really slow on the turn. He looked very slow trying to keep up with play. He had his goal-going instinct, as we know, but he was so slow trying to keep up with play. Against MK Dons, looking at him, he looked like he was running a lot freer. It's a really hard way to describe, but he looked like he was running freely. He wasn't as hunched. He wasn't trying to keep up with play. He was actually involved in the build-up with some good one-touch hold-up play and using his body. It wasn't a Rajovic I've seen last year. And given that Rajovic did get the crucial goal against Millwall, given what I saw against MK Dons, I think I'd start him ahead of Bio this time and see what happens there. Because he looks a not different player, but he looks like he's a little bit more. If he had maybe any injury or maybe a niggle or something last year that he was playing through, he's lost it because he looks a lot more mobile. And that was his biggest criticism. He wasn't mobile last year. He looked it now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, out of the two, yeah, I would start Ryovic, but you look at what Ryovic has done off the bench against Millwall. If we get another signing in, he'll be a good impact player. But yeah, in terms of Saturday, I probably would start him. I mean, Bayer, we've said this, you know, he works his socks off, but that's not enough. You need a player that can score goals. We've said this all the time. You play to Rajovic's strengths, he gets you goals. If you don't play to his strengths, he's not going to get anywhere near. He said it in the post interview he had, post game interview he had at Millwall. Once it gets in around the 6-yard box, that's where I start working. That's where my job starts. So you know, we all know where he wants to play it. So if he does start him, he's got to play. We've got to play to Rajovic's strengths, and then he'll obviously become effective. Yeah, Mr. Kraut saying wouldn't pick a Spreer, has done okay in the first 2 games without him. Are you going to drop someone giving 100% and wanting to play for Cleverley and bringing a potentially uninterested as Spreer? Mr. Higgins saying disjointed side as the leadership of a Watford legend. I wish him the best. Is a leadership position. Hope he gets the bozos back in. 3 weeks left of the transfer window. That 3 weeks will tell a tale. Short in defence. Need a 15-goal striker next. Roll up our passion for season down to Bozzo's model. Also said really Ince against a weakened opposition. Ain't buying into it. He's also said we were shit against Millwall. Back four are crap. Defence wise, we are short. Mid forward line was okay. What game were you watching, Duncan? Well, he was actually watching the same game, mate, but it's just different opinions, mate. Ince was running well. Keep Ryovic on the bench until the last third. More of an impact, but you need to feed him better. Yeah, no, I mean, long term, 110%, Mark. I agree with that. He will be impacting. Like you said, you got to feed him, mate. I'm going for my usual 2-1. I do realistically think it's going to be 2-1 at the weekend. There is some truth with Stuart's claims, because I mean, after the Millwall game, mate. I mean, you should know because you were on the. I'm very honoured to have you on the pod as well, mate. But we were picking apart what we could improve on, and it's great and it's enjoyable, and I've enjoyed it. The fact that we beat Millwall, and a lot of, you know, there hasn't been many times we did beat them, and the way our attitude of the game was absolutely amazing. But the defence looked very shaky in certain areas, and once again that 2-0 deficit, we seem to look very uneasy when we're 2-0 up against any team. So there's plenty to ponder, and there is some truth in what Stuart's saying as well. But we've got 2 wins in a row. What's that? 8 goals now. Okay, we played a very, very poor MK Don side, but that's 8 goals in 2 games. There's 4, I believe, 4 home games. Technically, this will be 4 home games in a row because we've got Plymouth as well. So we've got Derby, then we've got Plymouth, I believe.
I'm checking that. That sounds right. I am checking that on the other screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after this Derby, Watford play Derby at home, then Watford play Plymouth at home. So yeah, hang on. Yeah, and I agree about the defence there, because ultimately we scored directly from a corner, and you never see that. We scored from a 30-yard free kick, which you never see that as a Watford fan. Last time was loser away at Blackpool back in 22. And the third was a really instinctive, fantastic run by Ryovic to get to a deflected cross and get past the keeper. So, no, you're not wrong in saying that, because we were fortunate. Those type of goals aren't the goals you can rely on week in, week out to get results with. So you're not wrong in saying that. The attitude's brilliant, as we touched on. And the attitude is going to be, I will say the attitude is what gets you probably 60, 70% of the results in the Championship. Because when we had Edwards, Bilic, and I think it was Wilder that season. We had the talent in spades. We had Pedro, Sarr. We had a fantastic team for the level, for what our ambitions were, but we didn't have the heart for it, and it showed. So it's an absolutely fair comment and absolutely true. We do need to tighten up. We do need reinforcements there, especially if Hoot leaves. But I don't think that can be underestimated. That so long as the players buy into what Cleverley's putting into the team, that we will pick up a load of results, even if it sometimes doesn't feel deserved, because graft will beat talent each time.
Yeah, I'd rather have I mean, like you said, alluded to too. So I'll just say hi, Mum. She just posted up. There you go. Cheers. Yeah, but 2 seasons ago we had the top, one of the best sides in the league. Probably, I still think the best side in the league. Starting 11. Obviously, it didn't show because we had no attitude. Now we've got a bottom half side with 10 times the attitude that we had. They're all playing for Clevs. The attitude, like you said, is 10 times better than what we had 2 seasons ago. It's miles better than we had last season as well, to be fair. And I think the pleasing thing going into the Stoke game is the fact that you see him on the touchline constantly telling him to push forward, attack, press. They can't score from their own, unless they've got David Beckham in their ranks. They ain't going to score from their own half. So,
or it's made a Sarr against West Brom.
Or Wesley Hoot.
True enough, that too.
Yeah, unless they've got, shall we just agree? Unless they've got Wesley Hoot, they ain't going to score from their own half. So exactly. Like Cleverley's doing the right thing. You attack from the front. The longer it stays down their end, the less chance they're obviously going to score. Stating the obvious, but you always see him push up. He's constantly telling them, pressure. That we never saw that under Val. We had to do like 30 passes around the back before we looked like doing anything. Millwall hit the crossbar and post 3 times. We were lucky. Defence doesn't close down, hence I ain't getting carried away. The results today. Oh no, I'm enjoying it. I'm not getting carried away, and I never have done. But I'm going to enjoy it. And also, there's been plenty of times where we haven't had the luck. We had a hell of a lot of luck against Millwall, but we knew we were going to need that, and we got the luck. We got away, and it was, I think, away. You need to do smash and grab. There's been plenty of sides come to the Vic that have had that kind of luck, and we thought, how the hell did we lose that? But they got smash and grab. No one's getting carried away, Stuart. Don't worry, mate. But if we don't praise the performance, people say we're too negative and we're not enjoying it. So, as far as I'm concerned, every single time we win, I'm going to laud it up, because you never know when the next win's coming from, especially at home. That's all I can say. Because just remember how long it took for us to win another home game. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to laud it up, mate. If we lose, we'll call them out. If we win, we'll rejoice and we'll celebrate. We are still in a relegation fight. Don't get excited. I'm getting excited with every single game that we win, mate. But I'm not that deluded to think that we're going to finish top and get promoted, mate. Not get carried away, but this season could be fun. Much rather watch players without so much talent trying than players we know have talent and not bothering. Exactly what it was 2 seasons ago, mate. We had talent and they just couldn't be bothered, apart from when we played Luton at home. And this season we've got players, which is a miles lesser talented squad than we had 2 seasons ago, but they want to play. And like you said, 70% of the games will be won purely on the team's spirit and application. And if we can just keep carrying a little bit more luck and work hard, we'll have a better season than last season. I'm guaranteed, mate. But we need to get some players through. Right, this is a Spreer thing, mate, and I'll get everyone else's opinion on. I'm sorry, I know where Clevs is. I can see where Clevs is coming from. He's the coach. I'm not a coach. He knows better than me. But I'm sorry, looking at his state of mind, I mean, I'm sorry, if you're working for a company in a normal job, regardless if you want to leave or not, you should work. You're getting paid by that company. You should just go out and work. I know people will have their own mind. I mean, I've done it last year. I had 3 jobs. I went from nursing to working for the council, and then I'm now on porter. But I still gave it under 10% before I left. I knew I was leaving, So, your head's always turned. You're going to be going to another place, but you still give it that much because when you leave, you haven't burnt any bridges. So I don't understand this state of mind sort of rubbish. I know I like you said, Duncan, I'll pass this on to you. I'll give you your due. They don't want to play him because if there is an impending transfer, you don't want to get him injured. 110%, I agree with you there, mate. But the state of mind thing is just a load of rubbish. He should just, if it's true and they're fixing on his state of mind, I'm sorry, pick yourself up, train your bollocks off, wait for your move. If you're asked to play, you play. If they're asking to play. If you get injured, that's the club's fault. They don't get the money. But you've been employed by a company or a club. You get off your arse, you train your hardest, and you play. As far as I'm concerned, I know it's easy for me to say because I've never been a pro footballer, but I've worked around, worked for people, and then you just got to just get on with it. But enough of me rambling on, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, just to answer Stuart Higgins' question later on, has Esprit gone? Not yet. So the latest in terms of transfer was that the Rennes offer, that was 25 million, has now expired because there's currently a behind the scenes. Esprit has had apparently 2 agents. He's got the one which was been dealing with Rennes when he saw photoed in that plane a couple of weeks ago. And there's a letter came out about maybe a week ago or so. That's allegedly from another agent, backdated, signed in, I think it was 20 or 21, when he would have been signed with Watford at the time. So it seems like that's been one of the bigger things behind the scenes with his move, whether it will or won't happen. Because nobody knows who the actual agent is, or at least there's a dispute who the actual agent is.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest holdup, I think, behind the scenes on that front, from what we can see. In terms of what you were saying, Pitch, about the attitude, and in terms of unless you're gone, you play. I think ideally, I'd agree with that. Unless the club is banking on the money, where they're basically wrapping up across cotton wool, and they're saying, look, we're not going to play you because we are going to sell you, and we are going to protect that value until that point. That's the only time I can understand it, because that's a club making the call for the player, not the player making the call for the club. And I think that's what you were saying, Pidge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's about,
yeah, you are right, though. I agree, mate. Sorry to interrupt. You are good. I do agree, mate. Carry on. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, and I think you can see Dan Brown is saying the same thing. I think generally as fans, that's where we view it really. As if it's a player making the decision for the club, then obviously we'll be up in arms because we are still paying their wages at that point. And as you were saying, even if you have something at move imminent, if the club have asked you to play, then that's a different kettle of fish from the club making the decision for them not to play.
Mm. Yeah, exactly, mate. We've got a bit of news as well. This is what Clev said. This is Tom Delibashiru has responded well to having come off on Tuesday evening. He's fine and is trained today, so that's a bit of good news. Obviously, Wesley Hoot is progressing well, but he won't be ready for the weekend. Hopefully, it will be the other side of the international break. Apart from that, we've got a full squad. In terms of this Spree thing, I mean, it's going to be mixed opinions. I completely agree with that. Like I say, you're absolutely spot on with what you're saying, mate, as well. Cleb said, I'll sit down with him, see where his mind's at, see how his legs feel, and make a decision on that. That's from Klebs. Also, a big shout out to the Watford women. The wait is finally over. Season tickets are now on sale. I have posted it about 4 hours ago on our site. If you head over to the Watford Women's supporters forum as well, we've posted that up in the announcement. So if you're not a member there, go on to that. The likes of Woody, Moobs, Dave Quick and a few others are on there as well. Also, one more thing, with Andrew French posted this on Twitter. I posted it obviously on the TaylorMade Army forum, and we're very honoured to have Andrew French on there as well. He said, cleverly said, still expected to bring a couple in, but it might go down to the last few days. Had plenty of support and backing from the club. Learned a lot in my first window. You probably won't hear me say a deal is close in the future. So obviously he's like he said, it's his first window. He's learning what rhetoric, shall we say, or wording that he needs to say. And he's admitted that there, and fair play to him. He said we were very, very close to signing. Obviously, they're not as close as he made out, but that's not necessarily him lying. He's obviously been advised by the club it was close. He's obviously looking back and say, right, unless it's absolutely set in stone, I'm not really going to make any big calls or buzzwords until that happens. And I still expect us to sign a number 9 and a centre back before the window. I mean, we sign them, I'll be happy. If we don't, then I'll be worried, because I can't see, apart from the cameos that Rajovic is going to do, I can't see where the goals in terms of forwards are going to come from, unless Vata comes up with what they're claiming is more of a forward rather than a centre forward. So I think he'll come good, but I don't think he'll get the goals that we're looking for, to be fair. But agents bigging up players. He's not an electric player, no big loss. Want to roll up sleeves, players playing for my club. Absolutely spot on there, Stuart. And he says, Hooter's gone. Yeah, I think he's gone, to be fair. Also, just sorry, mate, before we get on, Steve, don't do this to me, mate. He says, is it true we are getting Jedafeo on loan to get his fitness back? Oh, don't do that. I mean, that'd be absolutely amazing if we did, but I can't see that happening. Not that I know any inside information, but I really can't see that happening. But imagine that, Dunk, if that happened, mate.
That's the thing. If there's even a remote chance of that happening, I would snap your hand off for it now. My concern with that isn't with Dedefeu. It's not his talent or his attitude. It's the fact that his knee is well known to be absolutely buggered, is one way of putting it. And that's from his basically almost verbatim from his own mouth. Because he was considering retiring earlier this year because of it. He wasn't sure if he'd play again. So if he's had an operation and it has shown positive sort of response to it, then absolutely, please, yes. Because that's, again, where the goal's going to come from. Well, we saw that with Delafeu previously. But I think circling back to that point, that is a big concern we have. Last year, we relied a lot of goals on our midfield. And is that sustainable again for another year? If we don't have a focal striker, if we don't have someone that you look at and think, yeah, they can get 15 goals easily, then it is a valid concern. And the same if and I think it's right when he goes, we need a Hoot replacement and we need a new striker. And the question will be then, we'd have a new striker, in theory. You'd have Bio, Rajovic, Quado Bar. You've got 4 strikers for, in theory, 1 position up front. Would you actually then loan out or sell one of those 3 in order not to bloat out the squad? Because you'd have 4 strikers for 1 position, in theory. And if that did come down to it, I'd look to probably loan out Bio of that. And you've also got Doumbia, Mamadou Doumbia, who actually looked quite good, quite raw. I don't think he's ready to start.
No.
I actually looked quite good against MK Dons. And I think there is something to him there, but he's not ready to start yet. So you've got 4 or 5 potential options. And that's too many for 1 spot, even 2. So I think if that came down to that question, I'd probably look to loan out Bio or sell him. Because I think his hold-up play is all right. I think he's got a good attitude. He does work hard. But he doesn't have a goal threat to him. And we saw that against Millwall.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Delibashiri can't play and he doesn't want to risk him and he's on the bench, then it'll be exactly the same team that started Millwall, with the exception of possibly swapping Bio and Tom for Loser. Loser will sit there with Sissoko. I think it'll probably be that'll be one. Would you start that left? How do you pronounce it? Is it Larouci or
Larouci? Yeah.
Larouci. Would you start him ahead of Ngakia? Or would you wait another game?
If he's ready to play, we need the balance. I think Ngakia's acquitted himself really well, but he's not obviously not left-footed naturally. You lose so much width trying to get down the wing when someone's having to cut inside. Even if they try using their left foot, they're naturally taking everything on the right because that's their stronger foot. So, and you see that when you have no left-footed centre-back when you're playing a back three, because the one on the left will have to cut in a lot more, and it narrows down your passing angle. It's that same problem, so you need that balance. I think it'll be really harsh on Ngakia on paper, because I think he's performed well. And I've said it in the after the Millwall game. I'd even put Ngakia ahead of Andrews potentially, but ultimately, if you're just talking about if Andrews is starting between Larouci and Ngakia, it has to be Larouci because you need that natural width.
Yeah, no, good point, mate. Right, okay, guys and girls, we're going to shoot off. Just a big shout. The bunker is definitely open. We've posted this up on the TaylorMade Army forum. It'll be open around, I've said midday. It's around midday. It's usually midday or 12:30. I'll get official time next day or so. But yeah, it's usually about 12:30. Look on our, the TaylorMade Army forum and the 1881 forum for the exact time. But it's definitely open. Saturday, obviously it wasn't open midweek, but it's open Saturday for the game. So make sure you get down there. Like we always say, the perfect start to your match day is at the bunker. So get yourself down there for that. Also, Jenny's GoFundMe is on our forum as well. So if you can, Jenny Scott, so if you can donate to that, that'd be absolutely amazing. And like I say, also our official partners in Reach Group, Mr. Terry Pearce, also I think I'll say number 2 Ramage fan. I'm not letting him have that crown yet. He's done a competition throughout the year. If you look on further details on the TaylorMade Army forum, you could win tickets to the VIP lounge, The View, with Terry and InReach Group. So that's our official partners. So if you get on our forum, there's all the info there. So get onto that. Yeah, absolutely, mate. So guys and girls, thank you ever so much. We will. There's obviously no Friday night tomorrow. I'm on the late. Sunday, there's no TMA Sunday night live because I'm on the late shift as well. But we are back for the fans' verdict Saturday, usual time, 8 o'clock. So we'll get all your feedback and all your opinions through from the game at the Vic after post Stoke City. So we'll see you then. Dunk, thank you as always, mate. I'll probably thank you a million times once again when we go off stream. But yeah, cheers, mate. Any last things you want to shout out, mate?
I think it's just a case of enjoy what Clevy's producing at the moment, because it's a nice surprise to have a team that looks like it's working hard again. So let's just enjoy it.
That's it, mate. Exactly.